Welcome to the real world. My name is Cameron. Thank you so much for joining us on episode 114 of the Real World Podcast. We're talking about the best movie, Robot. Let's get started. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Real World Podcast. If you're a movie fan, you're in the right place. We talk all about all kinds of different movies, old movies, new movies, things in theaters, on streaming, Blu-rays, 4Ks, all that kind of fun stuff. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well and hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos here in the real world. There's something for everyone here, so you're sure to get a lot out of our channel. We're happy to have conversations with you, so we want you to leave your list of the best movie robots in the comments below. That's what we're talking about today. And joining me on this very special episode, he's coming back. It's Bert. How you doing, man?
Hey, Cam. Hey, I'm glad to be back.
Yes, we're glad to have you talking about this topic. You know, we're both big sci-fi guys, so this is right up our alley and something we've discussed in the past, and I'm glad we finally made it. We're doing this, of course, because The Wild Robot is now in theaters, so you can check out our reaction to that right now. Also in theaters, Transformers 1, another big robot movie, so it's kind of a robot extravaganza right now at the theater, and both of those movies seem to be doing pretty well. So let us know what you think of those films. Again, our reaction to both of those movies are on the channel right now. But let's talk about how we came up with this topic and how we came up with our lists. All right. Well, now it is time to dive into these movie robots. Not robot movies. We kind of already did a discussion on AI films, films that deal with AI. So we figured, that topic's kind of been covered. Now we want to get more specific and talk about the robots themselves, these characters. And we decided to expand it out to robots, cyborgs, and androids. So we're kind of covering the full spectrum of all the robotic characters out there.
And drones.
What's that?
And drones.
And drones. Oh, good point. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, drones are huge now. So yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, any kind of robotic character in a movie can be on this list. And Bert and I both have top 20. And we're doing our draft again. So this isn't a ranking of, the best movies and here's our top 10. This is top 20, but we're doing the draft. So I'll take a pick. Bert will take a pick. We'll go back and forth. If I take one of his that's on his list, he can't use it anymore. So we're kind of trying to create the best list, the list of the best robot movies, and see who has the best list or the list that you agree with. Again, this is all subjective, but what list do you agree with? That's what we want to hear about in the comments below. So give it a listen. It should be a lot of fun. Bert, why don't you talk a little bit about how you went about making these lists? It's always a little bit different because we're doing kind of slightly different topics. So the best movie robots, what was kind of your way of thinking going into this?
It's funny. When I put together my list initially, I thought I had it pretty much in order. And then I thought, well, I'm probably going to take a closer look at it before we sit down to do the podcast. And then I started thinking about, it's not just like, oh, what robots am I fond of? And because that's one thing.
Sure.
But then I started thinking, well, I mean, they probably should be robots that have maybe like a character arc, a journey they go through,
Sure.
or something iconic about them.
Yeah.
How much of a lasting impression did they leave? So then it completely changed up my list because some of them that maybe are really good at one thing or in a movie a short period and you remember that, those might not necessarily be best, in my opinion.
Sure.
So I changed it up quite a bit. But those are some of the things that I think it makes it a more robust analysis when you start actually looking at how much was the robot in the movie and, where did they take his character and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I was thinking much the same way. I was thinking of these as characters, just like you said, just, how much do I relate to them or like them or enjoy watching them or, impacted by, like you said, the journey they go on and the kind of arc that they have and, how much do they change over the course of the film or not. So that definitely played a big part. That's kind of what I was looking at mostly as well. But then, like you said, some of it's just kind of based on cool factor. Like some of these robots, they look so cool. You had to include them. Unique designs, unique sound effects. That comes into play a lot, I think, with the robot discussion we're going to have today. So excellent. Well, I think the stage is set. Are you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right, here it is, folks. Our top 20 movie robots of all time. My number one pick is Wally. He's right here.
Oh, whew.
He's right here. He's always right next to me. He's always podcasting with me.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
this movie is just one of my favorite films of all time, honestly. It's a five-star film for me. Pixar's finest, in my opinion. I like so much about Wally. He's the ultimate underdog character. He's kind of just this little
Mhm.
trash bot. He's not like the super powerful robot. He's a very simple design, this little square body with these wheels for
Right.
legs and two little arms and his little binocular eyes. And, it's just a great look. It's like iconic. You
Hmm.
just look at that and you know exactly who that is.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's something I like about him. Again, he's got the lowest on the totem pole job. He's a garbage bot, creating these little garbage cubes and stacking them up as humanity is away from Earth and waiting for it to get cleaned up and able to sustain life again. Just the whole setup of the movie Wall-E is great. The first, I think, half hour of the film, there's no dialogue at all. You're just
Right.
with Wall-E kind of in his everyday life and kind of seeing what he's all about, and it's just very endearing. A character who's very romantic. Because it ultimately becomes a love story between him and Eve. But he's kind of. I was listening to the commentary the other night, and the director Andrew Stanton talked about how he's the ultimate example of perseverance. Because he's the last of his kind. All the other robots that are supposed to be helping him have shut down and stopped
Yeah.
working because this is literally hundreds of years after humanity has left the planet. And he's still just doing his duty. He's doing what he's supposed to do. But he's developed this curiosity with all these human things he's finding in the trash. And so it's fun
Hmm.
to watch him, pillage through and find these little trinkets and take them back to his little home and put them all in its place. And another thing that I relate to him by is he's a big fan of classic films. So he's watching Hello Dolly there on the screen and trying to kind of imitate what they're doing. And so it's just a great character. It's really unique, very simple again, but different. And does a lot with a little because he doesn't really talk. He says, a couple kind of broken English words.
Hmm.
He can't even really pronounce Eve. He says Eva, so he can't really even talk right. But he's just great, great character, great emotional connection with him. He ends up saving the day, at the end. He's the big hero of the story and, very unlikely hero, but a hero nonetheless. So Wally has long been, really since I first saw this movie back in 2008, it's been my favorite of Pixar's, of, one of my favorite sci-fi movies ever. Again, just
Yeah.
the whole world and the design of everything is so unique and different. And the sound design, I got to talk about Ben Burtt real quick. He's the guy behind all the Star Wars films and, came up with
Hmm.
the R2D2 beeps and boops and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And, he's done so many iconic films and iconic sound design. And this is no exception. I mean, he's dealing with not only Wally, but Eve. And then when they get to the ship, all the other robots that are there and kind of making each of them unique and make them sound different. And he just does a great job. He also voices Wally. The few lines that he has
Oh, is that
are
right?
voiced by Ben Burtt too. So yeah, so he's great. He's a genius. He's done this forever, and he definitely did some of his finest work, I think, with Wally. So that's my number one.
Nice. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that one, and I do remember you liking it, but I thought you were actually going to pick something else.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, I might
yeah,
have some curveballs. Some might not be as high as you might think. So why don't you go ahead and give us your number one, Bert? It doesn't look
yeah,
like
and
I
I
took your number one. So
yeah no, and I also thought you might. I thought it was
okay,
also a possibility you would select the thing sitting next to you, which is my number one, which is the Terminator T800.
nice.
And it was tough arriving at my number one, but when I think about it, we have the luxury of six films. This
Right.
character really was kind of he was kind of in a horror film in the first movie, right? And so Arnold Schwarzenegger got to play that type of role, and then in the second one, it's so vastly different.
Hmm.
We get to see some comedy and of
Yes.
course there's always action that the robot's
Sure.
doing, the Terminator's doing, and then there's even some drama
Mm-hmm.
throughout, not a lot, but even in the sixth film, which I know you don't like that much, there's some drama even. And so I just feel like it's a robot that has gotten to just kind of play every type of emotional
Yeah.
type of role and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so not many get to do that, I would say.
Right.
Sometimes often I think the robot's going to be a one note thing. I tried to look for
Sure.
those that were kind of well rounded, and
Yeah.
so I think even though Schwarzenegger um, doesn't always stretch, I feel like
Mm.
he has at times in the Terminator series. So that
Yeah.
that was had to be my number one.
Great choice. Great choice. That was my number three. So it was right way
Oh,
high up
okay.
there. So
Yeah,
yeah, you took it from me, but it is a great character, specifically in T2, I think just because he does start off as kind of the killing machine, right? You see him in that bar, he's just kind of taking people out, right? And then
yeah,
once he
yeah.
meets John Connor is when he starts to develop this no killing rule and becomes more of a protector, a defender, eventually a father figure, at the end of that film and
Right,
has such
right,
an emotional, ending there, being lowered into the lava. It's such an iconic that thumbs up moment. Always
right.
gets me. So yeah, excellent choice. Yeah, excellent choice. Great design too. When we see the
Yeah, yeah.
endoskeleton, it is such a
Right,
cool looking thing. It's kind of scary, especially in T1, when it all melts off and it's just coming at them, it's just
right.
so freaky.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. I just think I think a lot of directors, writer directors would have just had Schwarzenegger play that same type of role from T1 for six
Right.
movies.
Yep. Yep.
And so Cameron, we talked about it a lot, but the different types of roles that he ended up getting to do with
Yeah.
that same character or robot or
Yeah,
whatever
sure.
cybernetic organism,
Right.
it made it a lot more well rounded for sure.
I agree. Excellent selection. All right, moving on to my number two. It's from my brother's favorite movie of all time, The Iron Giant. So
Ah,
I am picking the giant
that's
from
on
The
my
Iron
list somewhere
Giant.
there.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this one's great too. Another one that, I think kind of with a lot of these, simplicity is key in many ways. There's some that are more intricate and interesting, but
Yeah, yeah.
Iron Giant's pretty simple. It's a pretty
Hmm.
simple, two arms, two legs, head, and very simple shapes. You can very easily
Yeah.
draw this, and
Yeah, right,
I
right.
think I think that's kind of key to some of these characters that are just giving us an image that's instantly recognizable and kind of iconic and memorable. They certainly did that here. This story is great. It sort of takes that whole idea of the boy and his dog, a concept,
Hmm.
Lassie and Old Yeller and all those different things, and kind of modernizes it with a robot. And I say modernize, even though the film actually takes place in the 50s, even though it was made in the 90s, came out in 99. Brad Bird, director, writer, fantastic creative mind behind The Incredibles and Ratatouille and Tomorrowland and all these other great films that I really enjoy. He did such a great job with this. His first film, directorial debut.
Hmm.
I still think it's probably his best movie and just did a great job with it. He is an alien. He comes from outer space to Earth. I don't know if have you seen the signature edition of Iron Giant?
I do not know. I've seen it at least twice, but it's been a
Okay.
while too, so I'm not
Yeah, the
sure.
signature edition came out, I want to say about 10 years ago or so, for maybe the 20th anniversary or something.
Oh, okay.
Um, and or no, I guess it would have been 2019. It would have come out. Um, so yeah, not too long ago, but it's on Blu-ray. You can buy it. I got to watch it in theaters, which was cool. They did a like one
Hmm.
week re-release, and it
Oh.
shows you kind of the backstory a little bit. There's a little
Hmm.
scene where you kind of get into the giant's head and you kind of see where he comes from, what he was built
Oh.
for,
Oh.
all that kind
Okay.
of stuff. So you should definitely check it out. And there's
Yeah.
a couple of
Yeah.
other deleted scenes added in, but
Hmm.
it's really cool. It's really good. I don't think it's needed because they kind of loosely explain it in the theatrical version, but here you get a lot more detail.
Hmm.
And so great character. The whole concept for the film came from Brad Bird, who had experienced the loss of his sister due to gun violence.
Hmm.
And so he kind of had this idea of what if a gun chose not to be a gun? What if a gun had a soul? What if a weapon kind of had a soul and could choose to, do what it wanted to do rather
Hmm.
than what it was intended to be used for? And so that's at the heart of this. It's a great story. There's a great Superman reference throughout the film of, the boy Hogarth teaching the giant, what it means to be a hero. And, he
Hmm.
gives Superman as an example. And so it's a great story, great kind of coming of age tale. and a story about being who you choose to be rather than who you maybe were pushed into being. So
Wow.
really like that film, really like that character. Again, Vin Diesel is voicing him here,
Right.
and he doesn't have a ton of lines, but it's just all of them are just kind of memorable and fun.
Yeah.
There's plenty of funny moments too throughout the film. And so yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it many times, and so that made number two.
Doesn't Vin Diesel do the voice of Groot as well?
That's right. Yes, he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's right.
He's got
Yeah,
that low
iconic
voice.
voice.
Yeah.
All right, Bert, I think we're on to your number two now. What do you have there?
And that's where I'm going to go with a robot from Bicentennial Man.
Oh, yes, I have this on my list.
Played,
It's lower, but I really like
yeah,
this movie.
played by Robin Williams. May he rest in peace.
Yes.
And it's one of these that the robot gets dropped off at the people's house. This is something that'll that happens in other robot movies too, or they go out and purchase the robot and bring it home, and it's the family's robot, right?
Right.
And there's humor and a lot of drama, but the the journey that the robot goes on is very vast. The film
Yeah.
spans probably 50 something years,
Right.
but it's this journey of the robot. And then again, a lot of the robot films are like this too, where they're trying to change what they are. The AI inside
Yeah.
of it is
Yeah.
trying to become something. And in this case, he wants to become more human. He
Hmm.
wants to be accepted like a human. And so and he swaps out, I think, body, parts of his, yeah, upgrades and that kind of thing
Yeah.
throughout the years. And there's kind of a little bit of a love story.
Mm.
It's really not strange in the when you're watching the film, but it is
Right.
different than a lot of robot films in that sense. But there's some great drama. It's very poignant.
Mm.
And so yeah, I just really love it. The robot's name is Andrew, and
Right.
yeah, that's my number two pick, Andrew.
That's great. Yeah, another great Robin Williams performance. He's again,
Yeah.
a lot of people just instantly think of comedy when they think of him, which makes sense. I mean, he started in comedy, was a stand-up comic and all that, but man, his dramatic roles, he just nailed them every time, whether it's this or Good Will Hunting or Dead Poets Society. This is one where he really got to stretch himself and got to do all kinds of things. He's in those incredible suits that they built for him. That's him in the robot
Hmm.
suit at the beginning of the movie, and then
Yeah.
yeah, as he becomes more human, it's just so fascinating to watch that unfold. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but really stands out in my mind as one of the best kind of robot films. Yeah, really, really like that one. So great
Yeah.
pick.
Directed actually by Chris Columbus, who does
That's
mostly
right.
comedies.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they
Yeah.
both were kind of branching out a little bit for that one.
Hmm.
So excellent. Great stuff. I'm going to go with kind of a similar pick in some ways, in other ways
Okay.
different. It's Spielberg's AI, artificial
Oh,
intelligence. Oh, did you have this on your list too?
that's my next one.
Oh, is it really? Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to go with David from
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah.
Man, Haley Joel Osment, phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
Especially for his age. This is right off the success of The Sixth Sense. And AI, of course, was a film developed by Stanley Kubrick. He was going to direct it for a long time. He passed away before he got the chance to, but he actually spoke a lot with Spielberg about this movie because he kind of said, "I want you to make it. I can't make it. I want you to
Yeah,
move
that's
forward
right.
and make it." So really interesting situation. But man, Spielberg definitely pulled it off as he always does, and did a great job with this. Um, it's basically Pinocchio. It's kind of and it even
Yeah.
references Pinocchio several times throughout the film. But that's really it. It's this artificial child that this couple has because they think their son is going to pass away. Son ends up not passing away, gets cured, and that causes a lot of strife and he ends up, being abandoned and going off on his own to kind of discover, if he can become a real boy or not. And he encounters all these different characters. Jude Law is great here as Gigolo Joe. I like him a lot too. I
Yeah.
almost picked him for this because he's a great character as well. But yeah, David has such a great journey. I mean, you talk about a character having, a great arc and going on this wild adventure. That's kind of this, in a nutshell, I would say. So yeah, he's very curious. He's very naive at first and innocent, and kind of learns a lot on this journey that he goes on. And it's great. It's great. A great movie. Great, very unique film. For Spielberg, it's interesting to see the Kubrick influences and then Spielberg trying to make that his own. And it's a really
Hmm.
unique film that I really like. I've enjoyed it a number of times. Heartbreaking at many moments, but
Well, that
well worth watching.
that abandonment
Yeah,
scene.
yeah,
Wow. I mean, Spielberg has some moments like that. I can think of at least one other, like in Minority Report, where it just
mm,
goes really, really dark.
yes, right,
Yeah, but
for
very
sure.
good movie. It's one of those. I think I last time we talked about it, I said I think I give the movie like a 3 or 3.5, but I've watched it like 5, 6, 7 times because
Yeah,
it's so interesting. There's parts though
yeah.
that I don't really love, but it's
Hmm.
very interesting movie. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Bert, we're on to your number three. What do you have there?
I'm going for a little variety in my list here, and so I am going to actually select a robot from the movie Weird Science. And
Okay.
this is a very well. This one's kind of like Vision in that a computer or AI essentially creates the robot. So
Right.
what you've got here is two teenagers, Anthony Michael Hall and another guy that's lesser known. They get on their computers back in the 80s, and they create the woman of their dreams using the
Right.
computer, and the computer just like makes it happen. And then the robot's played by Kelly LeBrock, who is like
Okay.
this I don't know, like a supermodel or something.
Okay.
And she's in the majority of the film, and she's hysterical. She's really funny. She's the boys are really kind of timid. They've never had a girlfriend. They um, so this Lisa robot is very confident and basically tries to teach the boys, you know, things about life. Really,
Sure.
it's not like more of a well, there are sexual jokes, but
Sure.
it's not so much that she's trying to teach them about sex. It's not really that
Right.
kind of thing at all.
Right.
But yeah, she's just hilarious. She's like this rebellious. She's British, she's like this rebellious
Okay.
young woman, and kind of like their surrogate girlfriend.
Sure.
But it's just a blast. I still like Weird Science after all these years. But yeah, Lisa, probably not everybody's choice for top five, but yeah, I'm going with it.
Excellent. I love it. I love it. I've still not seen this movie, but I've heard a lot about it.
Mm.
I know it is one of those was a big hit in the 80s, so it's definitely on the watch list. Now it'll be a little bit higher, so I can check it out finally. Excellent. All right, we're gonna move on to my next pick, which is Star Wars. I've got the shirt on.
Mm.
I had to pick one of the droids from Star Wars,
Yeah,
and I was going through all. There's so many. Every movie has at least a couple droids,
yeah.
multiple droids that you see in the background at least. So, man, it was tough going through all these and trying to figure out who's my favorite. But I kept going back to BB-8. BB-8,
Okay,
he's my
okay,
favorite. He's my
all
favorite.
right.
He's great from the new films.
Hmm.
He's spunky.
Yeah,
He's kind of like the puppy. I look at like R2D2 as kind of like the family dog. And BB-8 is kind of like the young, energetic puppy. He's like always seeking to please and help others. He's also just very fast. He's on a ball, so he can actually keep
yeah,
up with the characters. He's not on
yeah.
wheels like going really slow. That's why they had to make
Right.
R2D2 fly in the prequels because they're like he's just too slow. He can't get around very well.
Oh, yeah,
So
right.
but BB-8's great. He's really cool. It's just another great simple design. It's literally a ball with a little head, one eye. I
Hmm.
think J.J. Abrams drew that on a napkin when he was writing the script, talking it out with the co-writer. I think I remember hearing he drew it on
Huh.
a napkin. It's like, yeah, I think this is our new droid, and so it just looks great. The orange and white color scheme is memorable too. Sets it apart. The way he talks, it's not in the whistles and beeps of R2. It's more of a wobbly kind of sound. So right there, again, it's something different. It's not just trying to rehash what's come before. So I like that. He's
Yeah.
got, like R2, tons of gadgets. He's got the lighter, he gives them the thumbs up with the lighter, and he has all these different things that he can do. He's got these cables that come out and he can kind of attach himself to things or whatever. So little arms, he's got all these different things he can do. And he's, of course, the droid of one of my favorite characters of the new trilogy, Poe Dameron, played by Oscar Isaac, is the pilot. So he's
Mm.
with him a lot in his X-Wing and helping him. And there's a great opening scene in the beginning of Last Jedi where they're kind of taking out this ship and he's kind of having to fix all these problems inside the
Oh yeah,
X-Wing. And
yeah.
so just a fun character, really enjoyable to watch him on screen, very, very fun. Yeah, BB-8 is the one who made it. My top five here. And my
Good
number one, Star
choice.
Wars droid, which is again, it's a tough choice.
Yeah, that would be. And he's all CG, right?
No, he's actually not CG at all, surprisingly. Yeah, they
Really?
actually built that. And what they
No
had in
kidding.
certain scenes is a puppeteer who would kind of run behind him and
Really?
make him
Oh,
run, and they CG'd out the puppeteer. In
okay.
other scenes, it's a fully, when he's just kind of sitting there and moving his head and stuff, he's an actual droid they built. I don't know how they did it,
Wow.
but yeah, there's some behind the scenes footage of him on set, and it's just the droid sitting there and kind of rolling around. It's pretty crazy.
That's pretty neat. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Bert, we're on to your next pick. I think this is your number four.
Yep. And so for number four, I'm actually going to go with Data from Star Trek 4 through
Okay,
6.
nice.
And he's a character that of course, you get a lot of extra time with him if you watch the TV show.
Right.
Well, I think it's like seasons of The Next Generation.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it's been a long time since I've watched those movies, but I just
Right.
know that he's a character that I really enjoyed.
Sure.
Often used for humor,
Hmm.
and pretty much never is he trying to tell a joke, but he's sort of that, he's trying to understand us.
Right.
And so he'll ask questions and he'll come
Yeah.
off looking kind of stupid because, he's just trying to learn everything. So yeah, it's a great way to relate to, it's kind of a constant fish out of water for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a character, a robot, or, whatever you want to call him, android, I think they refer to him as, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, in
Right.
the show, I think. And so,
Yes.
yeah, I had to put him pretty high up there.
Yeah, great choice. Really like him. I've not seen the series. I've watched the films, though. I've watched First
Yeah,
Contact
yeah.
all the way through, and so yeah, he definitely had some interesting things going on with his, emotion chip or something like that, where he could turn it on and
Yeah,
off, and he was trying to learn
that's
emotions,
right.
and
That's right. Yeah.
so that's pretty neat. Yeah, a lot of cool concepts there with that character. And what's the guy's name? Is it Bruce Spence or
Brent
Spiner?
Spiner.
Brent
Hmm.
Spiner, that's it. That's it. That's it.
Hmm.
Brent Spiner. Yeah, very good actor. I've seen him in other things I've really liked him in. So yeah, excellent
Yeah.
choice. Excellent choice. All right, now we're moving on to my number five selection, which is going to be Adam from Real Steel.
Okay.
Real Steel, man, this movie, I like it more every time I watch it. It's one of those that like
Huh.
every time I see it, I'm like, man, this is such a good movie. It's fun, pretty wholesome, it's just a really great father-son story set in this futuristic robot boxing world. It's kind of like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, the movie, I guess, is how that's how they probably sold it, to people. But man, it's just so well done. And Sean Levy directed it. He did Date Night and he did Night at the Museum, other movies I like. And Hugh Jackman's in it. But it's Hugh Jackman as this former boxer, and he's, basically human boxing is over. They've kind of gotten rid of that, and now it's all robots that box. And he's trying to kind of make it as this robot boxing guy. Finds out he has a son. He and the son are at this junkyard, and they discover this robot, this old robot, who the son names Adam, and he's really built for sparring. So he's like built to like kind of take a lot of hits, but not really
Hmm.
like dish out any big hits. So he can't really do a lot of damage. And so in that way, I guess he's kind of like Rocky. Rocky's kind of known for like taking a lot of hits and then just,
Yeah. Yeah.
unloading on guys after they're worn out. So it's kind of that cool concept. So he's again very much an underdog kind of character. Um, what's so interesting about how they shoot him is there's a shot of him waiting to go into the ring, and the father and son leave, but the camera lingers on Adam, and the way the camera moves, it almost looks as if Adam is moving and like looking at himself in this mirror. And so there's
Hmm.
kind of these hints of, is he really alive in there? Is there something else going on? Because he's just kind of supposed to be a
Interesting.
remote controlled robot, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so they do little subtle things like that throughout the
Hmm.
film. Some of the ways he looks at the kid, kind of like tilts his head or like things like this. And
Hmm.
so again, it's very subtle, but it's like it kind of makes you go as an audience member, wait, is this robot actually alive in some way? So it's fun. It's fun to kind of watch that and do that, I think, throughout the movie. And it doesn't really give you an answer. I like that it kind of leaves it up to the audience to decide.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, just great character, great design. Again, a very kind of simplistic design, but he's kind of beat up. So I kind of like that. I kind of like a lot about Wally is he's kind of rusty, and he's kind of looks old and beat up, and that kind
Yeah,
of
some of
makes you
these
go,
robots are very, very polished, right?
yeah, exactly, right. Yeah, it's the opposite
Yeah,
of that. So, yeah, really like Adam, really like this movie, and so yeah, that made my number five.
nice. Yeah, the Transformers, you never really see the dents, and
Right.
they're crashing into each other, and sometimes yeah, it doesn't hold up necessarily.
Exactly. All right, so that was my number five. Now, Bert, we're on to your number five. What do you have there?
I got this fella right next to me here, Vision.
Ah, yes, the
Yeah,
Vision.
and we got in a lot of movies with him too, and a
Sure.
TV show. Didn't
Right.
really like the TV show
Hmm.
actually.
Okay.
It's didn't really get it.
Yeah.
What they're going for. But yeah, Vision, he's a unique one too. I can't really keep straight the creation, so I had to look it up. He's created by Ultron,
Right.
and then the Avengers, I guess, steal him,
Right.
and then they put in his brain Jarvis, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's how
Right.
it goes.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so he's a robot or android or whatever organism he is. Um, he's just really cool, and I really
Yeah.
like his presence on the screen. He
Hmm.
has sort of this very um I don't know even how to describe it, but just
It's almost
you can just
regal
tell
to
he
me.
regal. There you go. That was the word I
Yeah.
was
It's
looking
kind
for.
of,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
you can just tell he's got a lot of power, almost
Yeah.
Superman like in the
Right.
fact that like when he wields it, it's very shocking.
Yeah.
But and he's very stoic too, like
Hmm.
Superman is sometimes.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, just one of my favorite Avengers, and so yeah, that's what I've got at number five.
Great pick. Yeah, it was cool to see Paul Bettany finally get to get on screen after being Jarvis for like five movies,
Right,
just
right,
doing the voice. And yeah, it was
yeah,
cool. Of course, he had to endure hours of makeup, which I'm sure he wasn't as excited about, but
yeah,
I'm sure the paycheck was a little better, so that made it a little easier. But
yeah. And
yeah,
you
great
really
character.
feel for him and Wanda, like in
Yeah,
Endgame. Well,
right.
I should say Infinity War
Infinity
when
War,
that
sure.
happens. It's a very emotional moment. I mean, assuming you like these movies,
Yeah, yeah,
that's one of the more emotional beats in
right.
the series, really.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, they definitely have. It's great how they built that because there's no Vision movie, right? It's like you had to build
Yeah,
it
right,
in Age of Ultron,
right.
introduce him, and
Hmm.
he only has like one quick moment with Wanda at the end of that movie, and then you build it even more in Civil War, right? They had a couple of great scenes in Civil War,
Yeah, yeah,
and then to finally get the resolution in Infinity War. It was really effective. It was kind of surprising
yeah.
that even with limited screen time, yeah, we did really come to care about this, care to that relationship. It was really interesting.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, excellent choice, excellent choice. Yeah, he can do a lot of cool stuff too. He can fly. He's got
Yeah,
that laser. He can phase through walls and all kinds of cool stuff. So
right.
yeah, great character in the comics and a great representation of
Mm.
him in the films as well. Okay, gonna move on now to my next choice, which is going to be Athena from Tomorrowland. So another Brad Bird film.
Oh, okay.
Um, I think this movie's highly underrated. Not a lot of people talk about it. Kind of went under the radar. Didn't really make a lot of money. But it's got George Clooney, who I think is great in it. It's got Hugh Laurie, and it's got these young actresses. One name's Britt Robertson, and
Okay.
then this young lady who plays Athena. Her name is Rafie Cassidy, and she's a British actress. Um, I don't know how old she was when she did this. I want to say she was like 12 or 13, very young. But she brings a lot to this role. This character is interesting because we're introduced to her with the young George Clooney character in the 1960s, and she's got that kind of classic
Mm.
kind of 1960s, cute little dress on, and uh, you don't really know who she is, but she's kind of this mysterious character he's introduced to, and then the film jumps like 30 years, 40 years, and we get to see her again, and she looks exactly the same. Just different apparel, but
Hmm.
she doesn't age, and so we're like, oh, something's up with this character. So find out she's a
Yeah,
robot,
yeah,
and just a great character. Another character who's very robotic in that she's very intelligent, very serious, very straight to the point. You know, she's not kind of one of these kind of silly robots. We'll maybe talk about some silly robots later, but She's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
serious, very deadly
Uh,
too. Like she can battle like anyone and take
hmm.
them out. So she has a lot of wisdom. So it's interesting that they have this young actress playing this very wise, kind of super intelligent character, and she pulls it off. It's very believable. What she does with it. So, and the relationship between her and Frank is so interesting because Frank kind of liked her like when they were younger, but now of course he's
Oh,
aged, she hasn't, and so it's a kind of odd
gotcha.
situation.
Yeah,
But it's really funny and it's really well done. It's not creepy or anything. It's really funny and
yeah.
just really kind of sweet actually, especially towards the end of the film. So have you seen Tomorrowland?
No, I need to
Okay.
see it.
Yeah, I highly recommend. I think you'd get a lot
Okay.
out of this. It's really fun. Kind of has like a throwback retro sci-fi feel, but like I said, most of it's set in the modern day. And yeah, it's a really just a unique story, and I think it's really good, well worth checking
Hmm.
out. So yeah, that's my next pick, Athena from Tomorrowland. So Bert, what do you have at your next slot?
That's where I'm going to go with Alita, Battle Angel.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
nice.
And probably should have rewatched this one. It's been a year or two since I watched it, but I just remember being really impressed by visually what they did with this, because they sort of modify her eyes and but I remember some really cool action scenes, sort of an unexpected plot, some great acting, and but yeah, she was great, and I just can't remember a lot about it. It's one of those.
Yeah, it's well, it was not my next pick, my pick after my next pick. So you took
Oh,
another one of mine, but it is so good. I watched it last night again.
did you? Yeah.
It is so good. It is
Hmm.
great. It's a great, introduction to her character, and then, another one with a big arc. She doesn't really know. She has
Right.
total amnesia, basically, doesn't know who she is, where she's from, doesn't know what the world even is. So
Hmm.
Christoph Waltz's character, kind of her father figures explaining everything to her, and she
Yeah.
ends up becoming this kind of warrior, after all this, madness happens around her. And there's some great action here. Great action, just really cool character. Um, you know,
Yeah.
great visually, kind of what they did with her, like you're saying, her eyes bigger. Rosa Salazar, she's modeled after the actress who plays her, but they're enhancing things like the eyes and changing her hair and different things like that. And so
Yeah.
yeah, visually great. Phenomenal action sequences, but a lot of heart too. A lot of heart.
Hmm.
That's kind of the heart of the story is her relationship with kind of her dad. So yeah, great choice, great choice. Sad to see it's not on my list, but that's all right. I'm gonna take another one from another one of my favorite directors, Zack Snyder. From Zack Snyder's Justice League, it is Cyborg.
Uh,
Um, Victor Stone, played by Ray Fisher.
hmm.
Great character, another comic book character that I've grown up reading. So I know a lot about the character going in, his whole backstory and kind of his whole attitude and everything. And they changed up certain things. He's a lot more kind of angry in this film. He's what he's dealing with, what he's going through.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Exactly.
it's interesting though. It's a great kind of arc again because he feels very alone, very purposeless, and
Hmm.
through meeting these other characters in the Justice League, he finds his home, finds his family again.
Right.
And so it's great. It's a great backstory. What he did playing those flashback scenes was fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, very kind of heavy emotional stuff going on, but it's all
Yeah.
played very well. Um, that's cool. His design too. It's basically he only has half a face essentially is all the actor has to work with. So,
Hmm.
he's doing a lot with a little again, and it's alien tech. And I liked, the kind
Yeah.
of body he has, how it can kind of morph and change, and his arms can become all these different weapons, and
Yeah.
it's just great visually. It looks so cool, and they did a
Yeah.
great job with the effects on him.
For sure.
And I'm glad they kept half the face, just like in
Hmm.
the comics, because he is able to emote a little
Oh,
bit more and
for sure.
do that kind of thing. So yeah, really great character, really well played by the actor involved. I just wish we had more, I wish we had more with him. But yeah, really, really great character. So yeah, that one had to make my list. So that's where it's at. All right, Bert. Now we're on to your next pick. So tell me what you got.
And I'm gonna go actually with another cyborg type,
Hmm.
Marcus Wright from Terminator Salvation.
Ooh, yeah. I have him on my list. A little bit lower, but yeah,
Do
great
you?
character.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I liked Salvation better the second time I watched it. The first time,
Oh,
not so much, but I
yeah.
really got into Marcus Wright's character. I mean, really the way the actor played the part, because
Yes.
honestly, I think he really kind of the parts of the movie that I like are his stuff,
Yeah.
and just the journey that he goes on. I just thought it was really compelling, and actually ended up making me like Salvation a lot more the second time through.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's an underrated performance Sam Worthington delivers there
Yeah,
because he's another one who doesn't know what's going on, you know?
yeah, he
I mean,
doesn't know he's yeah.
yeah, when he finds out he's a Terminator, he's as surprised as everyone else, right? And
What?
so he's like,
What are you
wait a
talking
sec,
about?
that yell he lets out,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
it's a great scene. So yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. And his whole kind of denying his programming at the end of the movie and becoming
Hmm.
this, sacrificial hero at the end of it is really, really impactful. So excellent choice.
Yeah.
Excellent
Yeah.
choice.
At one point, John Connor is chasing him, and I'm pulling for Marcus,
Right. Yeah. Isn't that cool?
which is yeah, that is cool. The only thing is, I wish that that scene where it's revealed that he is part machine. I wish they
Mhm.
wouldn't have put that in the trailer because I
Oh
would
yeah,
much
that
rather have
was
found out. You
yeah,
know?
I agree. No, bad
Yeah.
marketing move. Very bad
Yeah.
marketing move. Yeah, that would have been great to have
Yeah.
been surprised in the theater going, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Goes
Yeah.
going
Not
into
that
a
it
different
hasn't happened
direction.
before, that kind
Yeah,
of thing, but still.
sure. Sure. I agree. All right, excellent selection. All right, kind of staying in the same mode, the man and machine mode. I'm gonna go with one of my favorites from the 1980s. It's RoboCop.
Okay. All
RoboCop,
right. I
man.
remember
Alex
RoboCop. Yeah.
Alex Murphy, this regular cop who's just kind of on the job one day and just gets
Hmm.
annihilated. I mean, what they did to this guy is awful. They blast off all of his limbs and he's kind of just laying there half dead. They bring him in and repurpose him into this cyborg machine. So he's got the brain of a human, and they even save his face, which is interesting. But the rest of him is a machine, and he is programmed by this corporation. This corporation owns the police force in the future. And so they're kind of he's a product essentially is how they look at him. And so it's really interesting again to see the battle that's going on within, of the human side is still there. So
Yeah.
he's interested in, he's got a wife and kid, and so he's trying to track them down. But then he's, got this program. He's trying to patrol the streets and
Yeah.
really interesting stuff. And Peter Weller just does a wonderful job in the suit. I mean, it's a real actor in the suit the whole movie,
Hmm.
and he's having to play all these different emotions, and he's very robotic in his voice and his movement. But again, there's just little inklings of there's still a heart in there. There's still someone trying to break free, kind of. So great performance and another iconic design. I think the simple kind of visor
Hmm.
with the big, huge kind of bulking body is another iconic one. So big fan of
Yeah.
this character, big fan of this movie. Very satirical film. Paul Verhoeven is known for doing that kind of thing in his movies, and this is one of his best. I think it's really great. He's very authoritative. Very authoritative figure, very deadly. But again, inside there's something more going on. So big fan of
Yeah.
that one.
Hey, comparing that one to Dread, and I know Dread's not a cyborg,
Ooh, right.
but they make me think of like a similar kind of thing vibe.
Yeah,
Which one you taking? Which one's your favorite out of those two?
that's tough. Yeah, Dredd is so interesting. Great, great character. I think I'm still going with RoboCop though. There's something
Really?
about
Okay.
him that's
All right.
just yeah, it's different, it's unique. It's yeah, he's so deadly, he's so precise. I mean, if these two were to actually fight, I think it's a no contest. I think RoboCop has the arm up. I mean, he can get annihilated, right? Riddled with
Yeah.
bullets, riddled with
Yeah.
whatever. He's kind of like a
True.
Terminator,
True.
right? I mean, he's really kind of unstoppable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, he's great. Both great characters though. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, Bert, give us your next best movie robot.
All right. And that's where I've got Megan.
Okay. I still haven't
Yay.
watched this. I gotta see it.
Yeah, Megan, I'll tell you. if you watch that trailer, it's everything that you expect from the trailer.
Okay.
So if you like that kind of thing, it's schlocky,
Sure,
and
sure.
it's one of those that if you watch it with a group, I mean, everybody's
Mm,
hooting and
hmm.
hollering,
Right, right.
and I wouldn't say it's unpredictable, but that's part of the fun.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that kind of movie, like it's basically like Chucky, right? Except
Yeah,
I
sure,
never liked
sure.
those child play
Right.
movies, unless you're trying to make fun of them or something, I guess,
Sure, sure.
or maybe in a party environment for that too.
Yeah.
This girl that plays the person, her name is Allison Williams, but the voice is voiced by a different actress.
Mm.
But yeah, it's so much fun, and like the dancing is genius. There's not a
Right.
lot of it, but
Sure.
if anything, there's just not as much Megan as I would have liked. The film does
Mm,
focus on Megan's creator, so by
mm.
the time Megan gets going, there's not a whole lot of runtime or as much as I would have liked. So, but that's how much I liked the robot Megan.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely one that's on the watch list. So maybe next month for
Halloween.
October Halloween time, that might be a good
Yeah,
one
yeah.
to pop in.
Oh, and Megan
Cool.
2 is coming out
Oh, that's
next year.
right. Yeah, I'd heard
Next
about
year. Yeah.
that. Cool, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely have to
2.0.
watch it before that. Yeah, right, 2.0 before that comes out. Okay, cool. Great pick. All right, I'm gonna go with a classic robot. I gotta go back to the early days of sci-fi in the 1950s. We had a lot of big sci-fi movies, a lot of cool robots out there.
Hmm.
But my favorite is Robbie the robot from Forbidden Planet.
Okay.
This one is sort of the most iconic robot, I feel like, maybe of all time. I feel like still when people think of robot, they think of this kind of, floppy arms with the glass
Yeah.
dome head, that whole
Yeah.
thing. But Robbie's a great character, and Robbie showed up. I didn't really realize this. I was watching some of the behind the scenes stuff on the Forbidden Planet Blu-ray I have. He showed up in a ton of movies, a ton of shows.
Oh, really?
Around the 1950s, right after Forbidden Planet came out, was such a big hit. He showed
Oh.
up on some TV series and did this other movie called The Invisible Boy, and
Hmm.
it's really cool. Again, a great design, so iconic, right? I mean, it's just again, I feel like still people think of robots, they kind of their mind tends to go towards this, which is
Yeah.
weird because we've had so many over the years, but this is still one that is just a great design. In this movie, he's very much a guardian. He's kind of programmed to guard this young woman and her father on this planet, and very authoritative voice. The voice has a lot to do with it too. Again, it's robotic, but it has it's a human actor playing it, so it has
Hmm.
that kind of humanity to it at the same time. Very intelligent, and so yeah, that was one that I had to include just because of how influential I feel like
Yeah.
that specific design is, specifically. So yeah,
Right.
Robbie, and a lot of people they were interviewing some people, even some directors like Joe Dante, who's a big fan of this character, who thought this was a real robot that they built for the movie. And when they
Oh.
found out there was an actor inside moving him around, they were very disappointed, you know.
Right.
So I find that kind of funny too. But yeah, Robbie had to make the list, so that's where he's at. He's at my number 9 slot.
Nice.
All right, Bert, what do you have up next?
Okay, so that's where I'm going to go with Bumblebee.
Oh, I was like one away from picking Bumblebee.
Oh no. I keep doing that. Yeah,
Yes,
I had to pick one or more Transformers probably,
sure.
and I just had trouble with some of the other ones with kind of like Optimus Prime, like he's really good, but I can't really tell you much about him. I feel like I know Bumblebee a lot better.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I agree. That
Bumblebee's
Transformers
that.
1 movie does a lot for Optimus and for Megatron. So
Sure.
I think you should check it out because it's really good. But yeah, Bumblebee,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
everyone's favorite, I feel like.
Yeah, it's the giant robot transformer robot that you want to put your arms around and hug, right?
That's right. That's
And
right.
so and uses the radio clips for all of the vocals,
Yes,
which
it's the
is
best.
pretty interesting
Yeah.
because I'll tell you, in more than one film, you really care about this robot,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
it feels like there's something at stake. And of course, Bumblebee might be about the best Transformers movie out of what, seven or something like that, eight.
I
So yeah,
agree.
that's had to go with Bumblebee.
Yeah, Bumblebee's the best. Yeah, again, like you said, just that whole idea of him not being able to speak and he has to use
Hmm.
radio clip music or movie clips or he's like pieces all these quotes together to say what he wants to say. You know, it's such a cool idea.
It is,
And
yeah.
so they did a great job with that. Yeah, he's very youthful and just he's the coolest and he's a Camaro, you know, which is so cool. So
Yeah.
very loyal. Great character. Excellent choice. All right. Moving on to my next one. I'm going to go with Long John Silver from Treasure Planet.
Oh, okay.
So Treasure Island, everyone knows, was reimagined into Treasure Planet. Early 2000, I want to say 2002 or something, Disney did this animated film. And they reimagined Long John Silver, this, pirate, as a cyborg. So he's got
Oh,
this robot arm, he's got a robot eye, like kind of like side of his face is robotic, robot leg. Um, so he qualifies. So this is one of my favorite Disney animated films ever. Honestly, it's so much fun. The future
mhm.
tech again, they're doing like a futuristic thing, but it's still pirates. So it's like the ships still kind of
Mm.
look like pirate ships, but they fly through space, and like it's just
Okay.
very unique design
Hmm.
wise.
Yeah.
And specifically this character, I don't think he's supposed to even be human,
Mm.
because he doesn't. The rest of him doesn't exactly look human. So I think he is supposed to be, there's tons of aliens in the movie, so it's not out of place. But yeah, I think he is supposed to be some type of alien humanoid creature with these cybernetic enhancements. And his
Mm.
arm, can turn into a sword or all
Oh,
kinds of different things. His arm can kind
gotcha.
of switch out. And he starts off just like in the book as the cook, in the ship. And so he's like has a little knife hand, he's cutting up stuff and he's using as a spatula, to flip stuff and stuff like that. So just a cool looking character. And then of course what they do with the Long John Silver character, just like in all the other iterations of the character, he kind of becomes this father figure, and then
Mm.
there's the betrayal and all these different things that happens to him throughout the movie, and where it ends up is really interesting. I really like how they kind of close off that character's journey in an interesting way. I forget who does the voice, but he does an excellent job. It's not a robotic voice; it's a very human voice, low, very memorable. So yeah, that one is one of my favorites. He's a cyborg pirate, which doesn't get much cooler than a cyborg pirate. So had to go
Yeah.
with Long John Silver for my next pick.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Bert, what do you have up next?
I'm gonna go with Alfie from The
Oh,
Creator.
yes. Excellent choice.
Yeah, and I must confess, this is another one that I thought was a really great movie,
Mhm.
and I just don't remember a whole lot about it because
Right.
so many movies since then.
Sure.
But I was very impacted by this
Yeah.
actress that played this Alfie character,
Hmm.
and to me that kind of sold the film. Well, and also John David Washington too, but
Oh, sure.
yeah, so I don't remember a whole lot except that the performance was fantastic. She was a very
Mm,
sympathetic type of character, obviously,
right.
and so it's very high up there. Yeah,
Excellent choice. Yeah, I need to rewatch
as a
that one. It's
result.
been a while since I've seen
Yeah,
it, so I
yeah.
want to check that one out. So maybe I'll watch that again soon. Because yeah, that was a movie that I wanted to rewatch but didn't get a chance to. So
Hmm.
excellent. All right, moving on to my next pick. It's another Disney animated film, a bit of a newer one, Big Hero 6, and the character is
Oh yeah.
Baymax.
Hmm.
Baymax is so
It's a good
cool.
one.
He's
Yeah.
designed to be this nurse bot and be very non-confrontational, very peaceful, just there to help. And then, of course, this young kid gets a hold of him. He's like, "No, you're going to be a superhero. You're going to fight bad guys." And so he's kind of having to kind of reprogram him. And there's this whole interesting kind of subplot with this different microchip that they can switch out, and it turns him to like kill mode, and his eyes go red, and he gets really aggressive. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, we don't need to go that far. It's kind of the lesson that they learn. And so, but it's a great character. Scott Adkins voices him and does a really good job being very robotic, but very sweet and lovable and likable. And
Yeah.
he's got that great design too, that big kind of fluffy marshmallow body that you can just hug. But then he's got the armor too, which is cool because he kind of, his look evolves. So he's got that, and then he's got that armor that he armors up with, and he's got the wings, and he can fly and do all that cool stuff. He can detach his fist and hit stuff, and just a great looking character. And another one, from the Marvel comics that they really translated well to screen and
Oh, I
gave
didn't know.
him. Yeah, yeah, it's based on a Marvel comic.
Huh.
And yeah, they did a great job with his character. So yeah, he had to make the list somewhere. That's where he ended up.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, it's a fun one. All right, Bert, what do you have? We're on to
Nice.
our number 11s now. So we're out of the top 10. So what are you
Okay.
going with next?
Then I'm going with the aforementioned Gigolo Joe from AI.
Oh, nice. Okay, great. So we both have AI on our list.
Oh yeah, yeah. Played well by Jude Law, and
Yes.
it's a fun role. You know, really the movie did need a little bit of comic relief,
Yeah,
and
yeah, oh,
so
sure.
Jude Law kind of provides that and some levity and a good sort of flip side to David because
Right.
he kind of helps teach him some things, a lot of things,
Hmm.
and yeah, just a fun, quirky character, and like I said, some needed comic relief in that film.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. It definitely needed that. And his look is interesting because he's very kind of glossy, you know? He's
Yeah,
got that kind of very waxy kind of plastic
yeah,
feel.
yeah, right.
Which I don't really know how they did that. I guess it was with
I don't either.
makeup, but it looks
Yeah,
really good.
yeah.
So yeah, that's a good pick. All right. Going back to the man Zack Snyder, one of our favorites. He just did this film, Rebel Moon, two-part
Ah,
sci-fi epic. And there's a character in there named Jimmy, and he's the robot character, voiced by the great Anthony Hopkins. And
oh
what
yeah,
a
yeah.
what a cool character! Great voice, obviously again has that kind of regal vibe, a lot like Vision you were talking about. Has
Yeah,
that
yeah.
very confident. Again, of course, the voice adds to that accent that he has, and um, again, very authoritative, but very much a servant role. That's kind of the role of the
Hmm.
Jimmies is to protect the king and queen and the royals. And now that the king and queen and the princess are all dead, he has kind of no purpose. So he's kind of wandering, and he comes upon this village, and he's starting to learn, kind of humanity and what his new role could be. And he kind of realizes that the one who's kind of taken over the empire is evil, and so the best way to honor the king and queen would be to fight back. And so that's kind of his journey. And his design changes throughout. He starts off with a kind of pretty simple design. I like he's got like six eyes,
Hmm.
doesn't really have a mouth, nose, just kind of blank, but those
Yeah.
eyes light up in different ways. So sometimes it's red, sometimes it's blue. You can kind of tell what he's feeling through that and through the voice and the body posture. And there was an actor playing him on set as well.
Hmm.
So it was
Okay.
motion capture. And
Hmm.
I thought they all did a great job. And again, his look evolves. He eventually gets a cape. He gets these big antlers he puts on his head, and all these interesting things that he adds on that all have different meanings to him and what he's gone through. So the director's cut helps flesh out Jimmy a lot more. If you haven't
Oh,
checked those
okay.
out yet,
I need to
I
watch
would,
that yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
I highly recommend. And whenever you get 6 hours to set aside and watch
Exactly.
both of those films, yeah, he gets a lot more development there. So yeah, I had to go with Jimmy next.
Nice. Nice.
All right, Bert, what do you have at your number 12?
And that's where I'm going with the T-1000 from Terminator, played by Robert
Oh,
Patrick.
okay, great.
One of the
Nice.
scariest villains, I think, ever.
Yeah,
Um, Overcoming Robert Patrick's relatively thin frame and
right.
stature.
Yeah,
Who would have thought, right?
right, exactly.
But he is so menacing and
Hmm.
effective.
Yep.
The only thing is he's not higher because we don't get a lot of character arc. We don't. I always
Sure.
wanted him to come back. In other films,
Yeah, right.
we never really get him back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just such a good performance
Mm-hmm.
that I think that's why I have to put him so high up there.
I agree. Great performance. Fantastic. Yeah, super great villain. I mean, he's just, the ultimate killer. Like he's
Yeah, yeah.
serious, deadly, cold.
Hmm.
Really, really good performance. So yeah, I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
Um, all right, I'm gonna move on to my next one. Another kind of, I guess you could say villain. Um, hero of her own story. We'll put it that way. It's Ava in Ex Machina.
Oh, okay.
Have you
Yeah.
have you seen this?
Oh, yeah. I watched it recently, actually. Yeah, about a
Oh,
month ago,
cool.
2 months ago.
Yeah, I like this character a lot. Alicia Vikander, I've liked her in a lot of different films, and
Uh-huh.
I think she does a great job here because
Hmm.
she's this AI robot who's kind of, you know, being tested out on this guy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it ends up she's really in control of everything. She's got
Yeah,
her own
yeah,
master plan. And but again, I say hero of her own story because if you look at it from her perspective, it's like she was created, she's trapped, she can't get out, she
yeah,
wants to get out, so she kind of hatches this plan, and
yeah.
it's really interesting to see how her character develops and how she changes over the course of the
Hmm.
film and how she looks and different things like
Right,
that.
right.
So really like it. Very, kind of a seductive character,
Hmm.
very curious,
Oh
very
yeah.
sinister almost.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
again, in her own way, she's kind of just, doing what I think anyone else would do in that situation if you think about it. So,
Yeah.
really like that character. So yeah, that one had to make the list.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in the last act of that film. I was
Mm,
it's very
okay.
intriguing, but I was kind
Yeah,
of thinking it was going to build to something a little different than what we got. But it's
sure.
still a decent film.
Yeah, I think knowing the ending, watching it again, I think I watch it. The more I watch it, the more I like it. It's one of those where now that I kind
Okay.
of know where it's going, I
Ah,
kind of I'm like I've made peace with it. And I'm kind of like, okay,
yeah.
this is kind of fun actually. So,
Right.
um, all right. What do you have next, Bert?
It is a robot from my favorite film of all time, Interstellar,
Oh,
named TARS,
yes.
which is actually an acronym for nothing, I found out.
Oh, really? I thought it
Yeah,
for sure was.
right. Yeah, that's what I read is that it doesn't actually mean anything. And we talked about this, but it's the ultimate sort of function over form because it doesn't look like a person, right? It looks like it's built just exactly for the utility tool that it needs to be in certain situations. It's like
Yes.
like a very square type robot, but
Right.
does have some really cool moments. Like there's that rescue when the big giant wave is coming and it has to spring into action and things like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And so, and the personality, the guy that voices it gets some funny lines actually
Yeah.
in the film. He and Matthew McConaughey are almost like two wisecracking buds, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. So yeah,
Yeah.
TARS.
Yeah, that is a fun one. I like it when yeah, they're having their back and forth and he goes, "Hey Tars, let's bring down the sense of humor by about 25% there, pal." They can like
Yeah,
adjust how funny he
yeah,
should be depending on the
right,
situation. So
exactly.
yeah, that's a great one. Great pick. Yeah. He is kind of boring to look at, but like you're saying,
Yeah,
when he's in action, I forget there is that scene where he like scoops the person up and has to kind of
yeah,
run away with them, and he does that cartwheel move, and yeah,
right,
they do
right.
some kind of interesting things with it.
Yeah,
But yeah, when it's just sitting there, it's like it's a little black box. It's like
yeah,
it's kind of funny.
yeah,
Very Christopher Nolan idea,
right.
which I
Minimalist.
like. Yes, exactly. Um, okay, now we're gonna go with another Robin Williams. It's not Robin Williams playing the robot, but Robin Williams starred in this movie called Flubber, which is a
Oh
remake
yeah,
of The Absent-Minded Professor. And he's built
yeah.
this
That's
robot in
fun.
there called Weebo, and she's like a little
Oh,
robot that kind of floats around. It's a little yellow robot,
oh, I
kind
forgot about that.
kind of like shaped like a UFO.
Okay.
Has these two little eyes, has a screen
Oh.
that can come up, and you can kind of communicate with people through her.
Hmm.
Um, Great character. I was, kind of thinking about robots just, ones, and she pops into my head. And that's a movie I watched so many times growing up. And I always liked her. I liked her personality. She had a lot of personality, big personality, even though she was this tiny little robot. She kind of got jealous, of Robin Williams because he was going to marry someone else, and she was kind of trying to thwart that a little bit, but also trying to help him. And very interesting kind of character dynamics, almost a love triangle kind of between the three of them. But a very, very sweet character, very kind-natured, and again, stands out. The design, the yellow and the floating around and all that. So yeah,
Yeah.
Weebo ended up making the list.
Nice. I forgot about that movie. I need to watch that again.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Okay, Bert, what's up next?
I think I'm going to go with Arthur, the bartender in the film Passengers.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember him.
Yeah, yeah. And a very interesting character and the way it's designed is pretty interesting too. Because I think he's only like a top half robot if I remember
That's
right.
right. Yeah, I think his bottom half's like a wheel or he's connected
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
bar or something. I don't know.
Right, right. So in this very small casted film, Arthur's about the only other person
Right.
for Chris Pratt to talk to.
That's right. That's right.
And so they have some very interesting conversations. And the dude outs what Chris Pratt did
That's right.
in front of her. And
Yeah,
so that makes for a very, very interesting thing too. So
that is
it wasn't
true.
on purpose. He wasn't trying
Right,
to
right,
be
right.
nefarious, but it creates that interesting turn that we've talked about. Alternate edits might have changed, but yeah. Anyway, so I mean, there's not a lot to him. He's got just a few scenes, but kind of an interesting role. And the I like the actor that plays him too. I can't remember his name, but
Yeah, I think it's Michael Sheen is his
it
name. Yeah,
is.
he's
Yeah, it is
yeah,
Michael Sheen.
yeah, he's shown up a few places. I've really liked him too. So yeah, excellent choice. Good one. Okay, we're gonna go with another kind of older robot from a movie from the 1970s.
Oh,
Many have called it a Star Wars ripoff that Disney tried to produce in the wake of the massive success of Star Wars. It's called the Black Hole, and there's several robots
oh,
in that film.
oh.
I
Okay.
like a lot of them. So it's kind of hard to narrow it down, but this one is the one that stood out the most because it's the one that scared me the most when I first saw this. His name
Gotcha.
is Maximilian, and he's
Oh,
the big robot that the villain uses to kind of intimidate his guests. And he's big and bulky, broad-shouldered, very kind of squared head with a again just kind of like the RoboCop visor, just this one
uh,
eye, this red eye, and he floats around. He doesn't have any legs. He kind of just
hmm.
floats around him and his like kind of upper torso. He's got these two arms that come out, and on the ends of the arms are these blades that spin around. And so he's got
Oh,
these two like spinning
wow.
blades, and that's how he intimidates and attacks his enemies. But just a great design. It's always stood out in my head. It's always been scary to me. Very intimidating, very dangerous looking robot. And so yeah, that one had to
Hmm.
make the list somewhere. So that's where Maximilian ends up on the list.
Nice.
Okay, so that's what I had there. Bert, what do you have next?
What number am I on? 15?
15, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go with my scariest robot experience,
Hmm.
and that is the tripods from War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise
Oh,
version.
good pick. Yeah.
And not a lot of dialogue out of these guys.
Right.
The way up, you can't get the microphone close enough to them
They
anyway.
make
And
these loud noises though
they
sometimes.
do, yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I say. It's the sound effects and the visuals. I love that they're kind of what's the word? They're an organ like a living organism. They're not just
Sure.
metal,
Yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah.
a really neat idea. I wish I found out more
Mhm.
about that. You
Yeah,
don't really find out about that too much more.
right.
But famously, these are the after seeing the movie, it wasn't that night, but a couple times after that, I actually had nightmares about these tripods, and which is interesting. I don't have nightmares very often,
Yeah.
but they're scary. Like
Oh yeah,
that sound they make is very unsettling.
it
It's kind of
is.
like that when you're on the freeway and you go off on the rumble strip,
Yes,
and that's
exactly.
kind of the
Right, right.
sound.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, so not a lot of character arc necessarily, but
Sure.
very very scary to
Yeah.
me.
It is a great design. Those arms that
The
can grab
tentacles that come up
people and
and
yeah, and they
yeah,
keep you in those little cages and yeah, it's
uh-huh.
really creepy. Really creepy. Good,
Well, and
good,
they have the
good
scout
pick.
ones that can go into like a house and
That's right. Yeah, those little eyes
yeah,
that can kind of peek around corners and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's basically the same thing as the original one or the one back in the '60s.
Yeah, yeah,
Very
similar. Yeah.
similar
Yeah.
design in
Right.
the
But
newer
you
one.
see
So
more of it with the new one.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and they got the
Excellent choice.
cages underneath them too, where they hold
Right.
people. That's the other thing.
Yes,
Not too many
exactly.
robots have that going on.
No, no. Yeah, freaky stuff. All right, excellent choice. All right, on to my next choice, which is going to be one of the many androids from the Alien franchise, right? The Alien franchise, they're kind of
Hmm.
known for always having some character being an android. I'm
Right.
going to go with the latest, which is Alien Romulus,
Oh,
character in
okay.
that film called Andy. This isn't a spoiler. You know Andy's a android from the opening scene, so don't
Hmm.
worry about that. But I won't tell you what ends up happening to Andy. But it's very interesting. He goes through a lot of changes throughout the film. He's a very unique type of android in that he kind of has a malfunction.
Hmm.
So it's kind of an allegory for people with mental disabilities. Is what they're kind of trying to convey
Oh,
here,
okay.
and it's really fascinating what they end up doing with him, and a couple characters that he, is one character particular that he's really close with, and then the other characters who interact with him. Some treat him very negatively, others don't. And so it's a great dynamic. It's a great character. He's very relatable. He's, very interesting. And again, what they kind of do with him over the course of the story is very different from what we've seen with, characters like Ash in the original Alien, who you just end up finding out is kind of this bad guy. Or Bishop, who's kind of the opposite. You kind of think he might be a bad guy, and he ends up being kind of a hero at the end of the film. So they kind of did something again that's a little unique with Andy in this film, which I thought was really well made. I'm excited to watch that one again. You haven't had a chance to see this, I know, but if
No,
you
yeah.
do, I highly recommend it. I think you're going to
Okay.
get a lot out of it.
Yeah, I'll be seeing it for sure.
Excellent. All right, Bert, what do you have up next?
That's where I'm going to go with David from Prometheus and Alien Covenant.
Oh, okay. The other
Yeah,
alien android character.
yeah. I was halfway through rewatching Prometheus, and it's been a while since I've seen Alien Covenant. But
Mhm.
yeah, David is I mean Fassbender. He's one of my favorite actors,
Oh,
but
yeah, for sure.
he's playing a very human type of
Mm.
uh character. He even fixes his hair at one point, I noticed.
That's right. That's right.
Very intelligent, excited to learn, and yeah, that's as far as I got in the movie because I can't remember the first time I watched it. So,
Okay, okay.
but
Gotcha.
but I know I liked him a lot. He was one of my
Oh,
favorite
yeah.
things about those films because they're often
Yep.
derided. But I think Prometheus I like better than Alien Covenant.
Okay.
But yeah, I like David as played by Fassbender.
Yeah, I think he's really the best reason to watch those films because his
Yeah,
performance
yeah.
is so interesting and unique.
Hmm.
And yeah, what he's doing, he's, watching Lawrence of Arabia, and yeah, he's like dyeing his hair like the character, and he's trying to like, yeah, he has these, curiosities like we're talking about with humanity, and he's trying to kind of
Yeah.
explore those. So great pick. Great pick. I like that. Okay, we're gonna jump into totally different realm, the realm of comedy. One of my favorites is Matthew Broderick as Inspector Gadget in the 1999
Oh yeah.
Inspector Gadget
Hmm.
live action film. Another one I grew up watching and just I really like. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I just remember so many laugh out loud moments with
It's
this
pretty zany.
guy. Yeah, it is. It's definitely over the top, kind of cartoony. I mean, it's based on a cartoon, so what do you
Yeah.
expect? But um, it's fun because, he's a security guard, very noble, heroic character, and gets in this big accident. And then they, of course, rebuild him as as Inspector Gadget, and he's got all these just the craziest gadgets. I mean, just like
Yeah.
things that you would never have any use for. You know, a garden hose comes out of his sleeve and sprays toothpaste, and like just random, just insane things. So
Yeah.
I do like the helicopter hat. I think that's very handy.
Uh-huh.
I would actually like to have one of those.
Yeah. You don't have
Um,
one?
I haven't found one. They're hard to
Ah,
find.
yeah.
But yeah, those are so much
Marketplace.
fun. The spring shoes, like there's so
Uh-huh.
many just different funny, silly things. I never really watched the animated series.
Oh, I did.
Um,
I did a lot.
did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So this was kind of my introduction to the character, but I adore it. So yeah, and the inspector had to make the list. So he's right there.
Yeah, I remember that movie. Yeah.
All right. What do you have
Nice.
next, Bert?
Okay. It's in line with comedy. I've got a robot named Claptrap from the new Borderlands film.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't still had a chance to see this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Voiced by Jack Black, and he's
Okay.
had so many voice roles, of course,
Oh yeah.
now. And he does a voice that I haven't really heard,
Mm,
and they kind of tune it to where you it doesn't take too long to figure out it's Jack Black, but you're not going to be able to
right.
tell right off. It's not like the panda, the Kung Fu Panda thing,
Sure, sure.
or anything like that.
Hmm.
But he's very funny, and there's a fair amount of comedy in the movie. The movie
Hmm.
itself isn't like a 5-star film by any means,
Sure.
but I enjoyed it. And one of my favorite parts was this claptrap robot
Okay.
that sort of follows around the main character and makes jokes and makes fun of the main character and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
if you get a chance to watch it, I think you'll find yourself laughing by most, not all, but most of Jack Black's lines that he has in the film. They're pretty funny.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I will be checking it out. I know it definitely got a mixed reception, so I wasn't clamoring to watch it, but yeah, the fact that Jack Black's in it, I mean, he's one of my favorites, going all the way back to School of Rock. So I'll
Yeah.
definitely be watching it
Yeah,
eventually.
he's Claptrap is almost like a box that has sort
Okay.
of a wheel at the bottom, and then he's got like two little arms. So
Okay.
kind of unique design.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Excellent. Okay, cool. Now we're going to move into a more dramatic role for a robot. I'm going to go with Sonny in I, Robot.
Okay.
Alan Tudyk playing this role, and he played him, performance capture. So he's there on set every day with the
Oh,
actors.
really? Okay.
And yeah, yeah. So he did an excellent job here. I still think it might be his best performance.
Mm.
I think, the way he plays off of everyone else in the film is really great. Uh, Very unique robot in that he's very emotional. He's not like
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
most robots you're seeing in this list where
Right.
he's got this totally new I don't know, programming, I guess, or evolution of his programming where he's beginning to feel things, feel
Yeah, and
emotions,
they're
feel
not
anger.
supposed to, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's kind of the next step of this robot creation that this doctor has invented. So really interesting performance. Again, very emotional. He's getting angry, he's getting sad, but it's still very childlike. He doesn't really understand these things, and he's trying to figure them out. And it's all kind of wrapped in this murder mystery plot, and so it's really interesting to go along this journey. You're not really with the character necessarily, but he kind of ends up coming into the main story, and kind of after he gets introduced, he kind of sort of becomes almost the main character. And so yeah, really, really interesting, different type of robot performance here that I think is very effective. And I still really like this movie. I've watched it so many times. It's just a really fun sci-fi action film. So that's where Sunny ended up.
Nice.
All right, Bert, what do you have up next? We've only got three picks
Three
left.
left. Okay,
Yeah,
so this is 18.
18. Yep.
Okay. And that's where I'm going to go with Mother from I Am Mother.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a film that came out 2019 and very small cast. This
Hmm.
girl, for what I remember, she wakes up and finds herself in this sort of futuristic pod, but it's a very large structure,
Yeah,
and
right.
she is taken care of by a robot that she calls Mother.
Hmm.
Some disturbing things go down. Mother is, as you can kind of guess as the film's going along, does take care of her, but has a mean streak.
Yes, indeed.
The robot itself is, especially the way it's framed in the film, the camera angles and that kind of thing, it is kind of scary,
Yeah,
when it's wheeling around the hallways.
right.
So and it's basically the two of them dialoguing off each other most of the film, and a very fun film. So yeah, that's where I put Mama.
Yes, excellent, excellent pick. Yeah, definitely a memorable one. I didn't care for where
Yeah.
that movie ended up going towards the end, but
Okay.
I think the robot
Yeah.
is a great robot for sure, a great voice and everything. So excellent.
Hmm.
Um, for my next pick, I've only got two left, so I'm gonna go with Ralph from Spy Kids 2: The Island of
Oh,
Lost Dreams.
okay.
Um, this is a
This was my
cool.
20. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, what? Oh man, I was gonna
No,
say.
no.
Uh, um, this is a little. It looks like a little beetle, but it's basically these spy kids. They're always coming up with these new gadgets to help them on their missions.
Okay.
So this is
Sure.
basically the ultimate spy gadget because this little robot
Oh.
can kind of do anything. It's got all these little gadgets inside of it.
Oh.
It's kind of like a spy bot itself because it can infiltrate places, go into little crevices, and find its way into places, and has a camera so it can kind of watch what he's watching on his watch, and has these little ropes he can kind of swing like Spider-Man, across the room and
Oh.
things like that.
Cool.
It's really cool. It's got a lot of personality. It doesn't talk, but it makes little beeps and noises and stuff, and it can. It's just a fun character that I remember very vividly watching this in the theater. going, man, I want one of those. You know, I want to have a
Yeah.
little pet Ralph robot bug.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very clever, very loyal, you know, character, very brave, goes into these deadly situations. And yeah, the ultimate spy gadget. I think Ethan Hunt really needs one of these for his next mission. Because
Yeah.
it's the ultimate gadget. So yeah, Ralph had to make the list, so that's where it is.
Nice.
All right, Bert, last two. What do you have at your number 19?
So at 19, at risk of saying I have less variety, I'm going with a robot that is similar to one that I've talked about before. This is going to be the Rev 9 from your
Oh,
favorite Terminator film and
nice.
America's favorite Terminator film, Dark Fate.
Indeed.
And I think I've said before, but I feel like he is so good because it's a tough act to follow when you're basically playing the T1000 with a little bit
Yeah,
different abilities, let's say.
sure, sure.
And almost a similar type of body
Yeah,
Mr. Gabriel Luna has,
right.
but also very menacing. I
Hmm.
would say he's kind of like Robert Patrick 0.9, like almost as good as Robert
Sure.
Patrick. That's high praise, I know, but
Right.
just very effective. A complete unknown, just like Robert Patrick was basically coming into T2.
Yeah.
And I just think Gabriel Luna does a really good job with that sort of exact kind of stuff that
Hmm.
Robert Patrick had to play, and the physicality's there. It's really good
Yeah,
stuff. So
sure.
yeah. So again, a little less variety with having a very similar type of robot in that same series, but still very effective. Had to go with it.
Hey, you're a Terminator fan, man. What can I say? I mean, you got
Yes,
three
I am.
Terminators on your list. We've done a Terminator podcast, so for those who haven't heard it, definitely go back and check that out. That was a really fun conversation talking about all those movies and ranking them. We did that recently, so yeah, definitely check that out on our channel now.
Yeah, and of
Um,
course I'm in jest saying that you love the Terminator
Sure,
6
yes,
movie.
of course. Yeah, anyone who watches that episode will know I have very different feelings about that film.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and round it out now. Round out our lists, our
Mhm.
final picks. My last choice is going to be from the movie Robots,
Oh, okay.
Rodney Copperbottom, voiced by Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
He's the lead character of that film. So many great actors in it. Robin Williams is in it, and Brooks plays a great character named Big Weld. I thought about including him, but Rodney is the one that we're with through the story. He's the one that goes on this journey as he kind of, it's so clever, kind of what they do with that world of it's all robots in this world
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how they do things like our world, but how would that be? How would that translate to the robot world? So they do a
Right.
lot of fun, clever things in that film. I've watched it many times and always have a fun time watching it. Always get a
Hmm.
lot of laughs out of it. But Rodney, he's the ultimate kind of optimist character. You know, he's got this big dream of being this inventor and meeting his hero and all these things. And his dreams kind of fall apart rather quickly once he makes it to the big city. And but he kind of inspires the city and becomes this hero throughout this film. And McGregor does a great job. He's one of my favorite actors anyway, but
Yeah.
here he's doing an American accent very convincingly and
Hmm.
playing a much younger than he actually was when he shot it. So he does a really good job there. And it's another great design too. It's not super polished. It's kind of
Hmm.
um, a bit of a mess, but it's a cool design. The blue and the white really stands out. And so yeah, very colorful movie. I watched it again
Yeah.
recently, and I really like the visuals in it. The animation still holds up as being really really good. So that's it. That's my last pick, Mr. Rodney Copperbottom from Robots. I mean, ending the list, the robot list with robots. You got to.
That's only appropriate. Yeah,
That's
I saw
right.
that when it came out. It's been a long time,
As
obviously.
it. Yeah, it's a fun
Yeah.
one. The whole family can watch it. It's tons of fun. All right, Bert. Your final movie robot. What do you have at your last of your top 20 here?
Okay, I had to get this one in here. I am choosing a drone or the drones from Oblivion
Oh man, what a great pick. Yes.
because they're so good.
Yeah.
Last time I watched this movie, it's a 5-star film for me.
Yeah,
Last
me
time I
too.
watched it, I had the volume up really loud, and these drones are quite imposing
They are.
and
Yeah.
scary. And
Yeah.
the sound effects are amazing. I absolutely love
Yes.
it.
Hmm.
So it's kind of a cheat because it's not there's not like one particular drone called Fred or something like that.
Sure.
but it's just all the drones. And of course,
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is a drone tech on this Earth or planet that he's on.
Right.
And so we don't get a ton of the drone stuff, but we get a fair bit. And I
Yeah.
just like the design. And like I said, especially
Mhm.
the special effects and the way they're
Yes.
used. Really cool. And I think it was Joseph Kosinski that did the
That's
film,
right.
right? And back in 2000, probably 11, when he was filming,
Mm.
drones weren't like they are now. So he really had a lot
No.
of foresight to
Yeah.
make them such a big part of this film.
Good
I mean, I
point.
guess you could see where it could continue to go, but like
Sure.
these drones feel like, aside from maybe the design, they feel like there could be something like this very much so in the future. And there are
Oh,
obviously
yeah.
drones that attack and kill
Right.
and that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah,
But so a
absolutely.
lot of foresight there by Kaczynski.
I agree. Yeah, these are great, great robots. Yeah, very scary. They've got that red eye. They've got the guns on the side. They can kind of fly any direction. Go into underground and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And yeah, there's some really great action with those, just on the ground
Yeah.
and in the air when he's in his bubble ship and they're having that chase through the canyons and all that. I mean, that is
Yeah.
some stellar action stuff. So really good pick. Yeah, I honestly, I'm shocked to say that they didn't even make my list. For some reason, I didn't
Mm.
think of those, but yeah, they're well worth mentioning, well worth having on this list because they're definitely memorable robots. So excellent
Yeah.
choice. All right, folks, that's it. We've rounded out our top 20 best movie robots. Now it's your turn. Go in the comments below. Let us know who your favorite movie robots are from the entire history of film. We've covered a lot here, but there's still many out there. So let us know what you think. Let us know whose list you lined up with more. Do you think Bert had maybe better picks on his, or did I have some that you liked more? Let us know in the comments below. We want to talk to you about that as well. Again, check out the Terminator podcast if you're a big fan of movie robots. We dive deep on that whole film series there. And we'll be, back very soon on the podcast talking about a new topic. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If there's a topic we haven't covered yet, we want to know what you think we should talk about here on the podcast. And let us know. We'll be happy to have a conversation with you. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, so you can follow us on social media. Those links are in the description below. Bert and I are both on Letterboxd as well. So if you want to check out our reviews on Letterboxd, what we're watching throughout the week, you can follow us there. Sometimes you can maybe guess as to what the topic might be by what I'm watching. And so that's kind of maybe fun game you can play. Bert, thanks again, man. It's been a while since you've been on, and we're glad to have you back. Glad to have you for this topic, which is just right up your alley.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Cam. Yeah. I was surprised there wasn't that much crossover. Like we got through, like I was getting pretty low on my list. I was gonna have to
Oh,
start picking robots that maybe only were on the screen for 2 minutes.
sure. Right. Yeah, I was surprised by that too. We had a few in common, but yeah, most of these were separate in our list. So yeah, it was a good set of lists here that we put together. And I'm just disappointed. I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed. Paulie's robot from Rocky 4 did not make the cut, but maybe if we do a part two of this, we'll continue the list and it'll end up on there somewhere.
At the end. Yeah.
Right, exactly. All right, folks. Well, thanks again for joining us. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos, and we'll see you next time right here on The Real World.